Hi, welcome to All About the Alternative Live, and let's just have a discussion show. And hi, how are you doing? And if you're here and you're joining me today, please just say hi, where you're from, and let me know all about you. And just join in on the discussion here. Um, I'm just going to start off and just say hi to everybody. So whoever would like to join me. And so we're kicking it all off. And so, like I said, on the last one, I was just doing a discussion at this point right now, see who's coming in and see who would like to join me on this, and like just get used to it, and say hi. Uh, you know, I don't know who's all around at this point of day of time and that, and I don't even know if this is being put out in the algorithm so much, but I'm just trying to get a little bit of traction as far as starting this up. So there are a few rules that I have for this channel. I'll put them out in a few moments, and we'll discuss them if you need to discuss them. So I just basically just want to get it ball rolling. So my whole plan, of course, has been for the last few things. This is episode 5, and this is behavioral science and humanities. Mostly, it's just a discussion to talk about these topics, and we can go through some of the books as time permits. But I want to get the ball rolling with just having a discussion, and the only way to start it off is to really do that and say hi, and whoever's coming in can join me live here, and it's all a part of it. I do have some rules that I have put down for this channel that is basically rules a lot of people, other channels have used other ideas. So this is mine. This is meant to be a discussion and understanding of ideas and ideals related to behavior and lifestyles, as well as the cultures that embrace them. It is not a debate, not to change my mind or prove me wrong. If you're here to start a fight or to be rude, you will be kicked out. If I have moderators eventually, they will take care of that for me. If not, it'll be myself. If you have credentials, make them known, but be patient with the rest of the channel who are here to learn. Excuse me, I apologize for my voice. And of course, the last thing, of course, is this is stated as meant to be a discussion. But this channel, myself, will take no position for or against any of the cultures or lifestyles being explored other than my own and my own experience. So I will open the floor to whoever would like to join me here today to talk and just get to know this. This channel has to get known somewhere, because otherwise, like I said, if it's not being pushed out in the algorithm, I don't know what more I can really do. But I'm not here to have, like, I know there's a couple of channels out there that are looking for debates on all this stuff, and I really wasn't looking for that. And I'm sorry for my voice, I apologize, because I kind of have something that's been trickling my throat for the last couple of days, and I've been trying to work on that. I kind of had a little bit going on yesterday when I was in my live yesterday, and I was dealing also with construction outside and vacuuming in the hallway, and I was trying to deal with everything all in one shot. If you hear some noise around in my background, let me know that you're hearing them so I can try to close a door here and there where I can. But obviously stuff outside I really can't do much about. If they're doing landscaping outside, I also have no control over that. So that's just it's all how it works. So so like I said, this is all about discussions about behavioral science, and the humanities side of things as well. And I really haven't gone into the book on humanities yet, which I want to. But like I said, this is it's got to start getting known before I can really start picking up and saying much and doing everything. Because if I don't, nobody's going to know what this is all about. But I do have a Facebook group that is involved that I created as well. That I will be putting the books that do get discussed will be put into the Facebook group, and you can get that from my description, or you can get from the description of my channel, and so that will be available as well. For the time being, I'm leaving it open to be public, but eventually I will change it to be private so that you can uh, get the books that are involved. You can talk about it. We can have an open discussion even there. If there's questions to be asked, they can also be asked there. But of course, anytime on my live, you can ask questions or talk here that put into the chat, and I'm open to the chat. That's part of it. When YouTube finally opens up this new thing that they've got going, that I can bring somebody in on the chat. I don't have that availability yet, but I know that it's coming. I can bring somebody else in on the chat, and they can describe or talk about whatever they'd like to talk about as well, and we can have a collaboration, and we'll go from that. And I'm actually inviting that because I do want to have those discussions and get that going. It's always been a passion of mine for many years, that just interest in cultures and in other things other than my own, and it sort of was a jumping point for a lot of ideas that I had over time. And I had a lot of things that people said to me in that, and of course I created theories of my own, and whether I'm going to bring them up here or not, it's another story. But that sort of formulated, hey, let's look at theology and philosophy and all the religions, and learning about them. And I came to the realization a long time ago, actually, that um, I just believe in closing the gap of people, not having this separation of people, and I don't want that. And that's why I want this a coming together of different cultures, different beliefs, different styles, different whatever, that anybody that can offer a little bit of insight to their own background. And so we'll jump from there and say, okay, well, you're talking about this religion or this lifestyle, and there's many that I'd like to bring up. There's many that I'd like to bring into this and start off and be all a part of this. So they will be brought up here every now and then, and that's the plan I have for this. So hopefully, also you can give me a like and a subscribe if you're joining me as well. I hopefully, as you're joining in, say who you are. And I'm seeing there's some people coming in, and obviously it's sparking some interest to have somebody coming in here and there. So hopefully you can come in and say hi. And I don't want to have this discussion alone. I want this discussion to be something I'm doing with many people. Hopefully it'll spark something that I can get a lot more people into. No, this isn't about Zooming somebody else or going off on somebody else's channel or whatever. I'm not really into doing that. And if I do bring up what another channel is doing, I'm probably not going to mention the channel necessarily, unless they've given me permission to do so. Or if you're coming in with a channel yourself, you can let that be known that this is the channel you're from, and we can promote your channel if you'd like as well. I'm open to that. You can say who your channel is, and perhaps someone reading or someone joining the channel later on in the replay, they'll join your channel and learn more about what your channel is all about, as well as what mine is, and that's how this thing all works. So if you're joining me, welcome in, and I'm glad to have you here, and hopefully you can give me a like and a subscribe here, and let me know who you are and a little bit about yourself. And so hopefully that's going to be of some interest, that you're joining me today. I appreciate that you're joining me, and that's what this is all about. You're coming in to have the discussion. That's why it's live. Otherwise, I would just do this as read the book out, and whoever would like to say something later on, they can put a comment down below, I guess, in the replay. But I want to be a little bit more than that. That's definitely what I want. So maybe I'm over talking. I don't really know. But I'm hoping that it's going to spark some interest here and have a little more conversation. So, we can talk about other things. We can talk about some things in the news if you'd like. some stories that are going on, and how they affect different cultures and different ways of whatever they are. Um, when it comes to religion, when it comes to uh, the governments and things like that, and what's happening in our governments today. Just so you know, I am, of course, Canadian, so my experience will be more Canadian based, but of course, I am always aware of the stories going on in the US as well. So, we can always reflect on, a little bit of talk about both, I guess, if you want. That's where my thought was originally is, and that's what I'd like to do. And that's all a big part of this. I realize this is the last day of the month of September, and it's a busy day for a lot of people, I guess, to do a lot of things in Canada, and I don't know where else this is really a thing. It's an Indigenous Day, Hope and Reconciliation Day. So I'm going to acknowledge that, although I'm not dressed in orange because I actually don't own an orange shirt. Uh, I may have to fix that for next year, but I don't own an orange shirt. So hence the reason why I'm not wearing an orange shirt. The best I could probably have done was a red shirt or something, or a pale shirt, but I didn't have that available to grab that this morning, so I just started to do this without it. But I am acknowledging the day that it is, and I don't know if other places, other countries really um, are taking part in that. In like the States is taking part in that day as well. I know that it takes over all the radio stations, all the TV stations. They just every part of media, I guess. I don't know how much YouTube is taking over. I haven't seen too much of it yet, but it's talking about all of the indigenous stories and about how all of the it's different information that they've had. Now, growing up for me, of course, they were referred to as Indians, and I'm going to just give this little spiel of a story here. I was in grade 2, and we took a trip to and it wasn't a reservation, but it was an Indian art gallery, and we saw all this art gallery stuff that just all the different paintings and different carvings and all. It was really fascinating. Actually, I was really fascinated with seeing a lot of it. I took a lot of pamphlets home that day. I remember that. I held on to those pamphlets for many years, and it did refer to them as Indian. It I don't think it really came to be indigenous until about a few years back, and that was my experience. But people have mentioned to me that it was indigenous long before that. I'm just not aware of it. I was not, given to that information, so I didn't know. But I thought it was just something that we had just changed over, and we decided that was what we were going to be referring as indigenous. So of course they're indigenous, and so where I would have referred to them differently back then, it's okay. I'm acknowledging it's indigenous today, and is the preferred word that they use. Um, but I still had all these pamphlets, and I believe I still do have them actually, because I know I did a project on it back then, and I had a fascination with a lot of stuff like that, just having history and information. And so I'm pretty sure that is still something I have. The box right now that has all my books and stuff is sitting in a storage unit, so I don't have access to any of that. Most of my books are all in PDF form at this point, and or in some sort of file format at this point, other than a few books that I currently have on possession right now with me. But everything else, I do have some special books and some special things that I really enjoy that I do have, and I'm never going to part with. They are sitting in storage right now. But at some point in the time, if I get the opportunity to do so, I will be able to pull out those books and show them and talk about more about them as I go. And I do want to do that. There's a special one that I know that I have, and I've mentioned this many times with some other lives that I've been a part of. When it comes to, I'm going to say this with the lifestyle of Scientology, I wound up getting a copy of this book for Dianetics. And as it so happens, the person was signing it that day signed it L. Ron Hubbard. Now, this was in the 90s, and he passed away sometime in the 80s. So I'm very clear that it can't be him that actually signed it, but this person did sign in his stead. I don't know. How do you put that? But yeah, so I apparently have a copy of that um, in that storage unit as well. So someday I'm going to manage to pull that out and show it. But as far as all the books that I have for this series and that, there's a total of 200 books, and it's growing. From time to time, I've come across an extra book that I can add in, some scriptures, and so a lot of things like that. And especially when it comes to the religious side of it, I have many different things. So um, and I'm sorry if some of this is being repeated. It's just because there's new people coming in and don't know anything about what I'm doing here, so I'm trying to explain. So yeah, it's behavioral and humanities is the beginning books that I had, which were the jumping point of a text that were suggested. I don't have those specific texts necessarily, but I do have the similarity. They're similar texts to the ones that were suggested, like Introduction to Theology and Introduction to Religion Studies and gender studies and relationships. And it involves a lot of things like that. But I also wound up getting over time, I've actually wound up accumulating. Well, of course, my background myself is Jewish. So I do have a copy of what's is the Torah, but it's also the Old Testament, which is so the Bible and the Torah, the Old Testament, are very similar, and that should be very much the same in fact. And then of course there is the Bible. I have a copy of the Quran, which is an English copy of the Quran, transliterated. Let's put it that way. Even the book I have that is the Torah is a transliterated version of the Torah. And some of the high holiday books for the Jewish religion, of course, are transliterated. Some of the prayers and stuff like that would normally be in Hebrew are what they call transliterated. So it shows the English, shows the Hebrew, or right. So the actual verse, it shows the Hebrew, shows the English, and then shows a transliterated version, which is English the way you would speak the Hebrew. So you can often just do that way instead of having to, if you don't know the Hebrew, you can still say the prayer in the Hebrew. Anyway, so the Quran is also the same way. It's transliterated, and so is the. So I have that, and I also have, like I said, I actually have a copy of Dianetics that it's in a PDF format. So those are the ones for Scientology. I have a copy of the Book of Mormon. I have also one that I recently got and I haven't had a chance to do anything with, but I know that I have it now, is called Pagan Studies. And so I'm at some point going to get through and start reading that and then add that into this series as well. Just because it's trying to embrace different cultures, right? So I will probably bring that in just so we can have a look and just have an understanding of what's in those words, what's in the scriptures of what these things are. There's some additional readings for them when it comes to the philosophy and psychology, especially the psychology is looking at different um, ideals, such as like Freud. Um, and there's many readings for that as well. There's a whole book of different. Actually, it's not just a book. There's several different books that are attached to it, and so that's what I'm looking at as well. And of course the philosophy. There's philanthropy, and the relationship side, of course, also covers a little bit on. It touches on gender studies, which we'll have a look at. And there's some interesting thoughts on there. Some issues on what women think, what men think, and so that's the psychology side. There's also what's considered to be a text on becoming an officiant. So I want to look at that book a little bit and discuss it, and we'll see what happens. Um, I don't know how that's going to work out yet, but we'll get to it. So I'll probably want to doing this spiel for a few episodes to start because nobody knows what I'm doing here. This is not a conventional thing. This is not something that all the other YouTubers are doing. I'm doing something unique here. I get it. So I'm not doing the train you on how to be a YouTuber stuff and all that stuff. Uh, or the commentary on this person is doing this person is doing that, and what their lifestyle is. I have done social media concepts on my channel. Maybe occasionally I might bring up a couple of them here, but there is some parts to that that there are some uh, there are some social media concepts that could be brought up actually that are in part of there's other channels that do cover a lot of this stuff that I'm going to be bringing up. And with their permission, when I will get their permission over time, to bring their channel into this as well, and hopefully they will come in and actually offer discussion. But some of the channels that I know that do Bible study, that discuss some of the other stuff that I'm not really going to cover. So my plan with looking at maybe a verse from some of those books might be something as well. But I am not here to do Bible study. We're not critiquing the wording or making an assumption on an interpretation that would be brought up from somewhere else. And my understanding with you'll see when we get to theology and that introduction to theology, there's the first paragraph, literally the first paragraph of the introduction to theology is to question, to to talk about it. And it's not just acknowledging that there's religion. There's also people who oppose religion. There's people that are on the fence of being, well, that's, people are that say that religion doesn't exist as atheists, and there's people as are agnostics, so they're in the road of, they believe there's something, but they don't know what they're believing. And so all of that is going to be brought into this as well. And so the whole thing is just based on like behaviors and humanities, and that's where I took this all from in the very beginning. So I'm looking forward to doing more of this, and hopefully I'll get more people interested, more people into it. Um, if they're looking to be a part of this as well, that would be fantastic for me. That I want the discussion. I'm welcoming the discussion. The parts of all of this that are, uh, you know, what do you know about any of these things, and we can talk about it. If you're joining me here live right now, please put a note and say hi. Let me know who you are. It would be appreciated. Let's get the ball rolling and have the conversation. That is where I'm really going with this. So if you're here, please say hi and join me in the conversation. Tell me where you're from, and we can start the conversation somewhere. I don't know really how much more I can really say on that. This is I've been working on this a little bit and trying to get used to it, I guess. Um, and my ums and ohs, I apologize for those, but I'm still getting used to doing this, and every now and then that's going to come in. So, uh, yeah, if you're joining me, I appreciate that you're joining me, and like I said, it's all about behavior, about discussion. Uh, Humanities is the other thing I meant to say. Uh, there's all kinds of things that we can talk about. Um, Hopefully, you'll be able to see this and learn a little bit about where I'm going from anyway. So if you're joining me here live, hopefully you can say hi and uh, let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're going with this. Anyway, I will give it a moment here and see if there's somebody coming in, and hopefully, I don't know. I don't want to do this alone. It wasn't really my intention. So hopefully, I'm going to have somebody coming in and saying hello. Um, and if you're joining me later on, you can always leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you're joining me now at that point or whatever, you can also press the like button and the subscribe button if you'd like to see more, and join me in for more of these. There's no sense in my getting into a book if there's nobody really getting into it at this point right now. But if in the next one I don't see anybody coming in, I may just start up live and just start doing the reading of a book and just creating it for a video for my channel as is, I guess, at that point. At least this way I can actually bring it up on screen. I could do it through my other software, but it's actually easier to do when you're doing a live, because then it's being it's recorded that way. But if you're joining me here, that's very appreciated to say hello and put into the comments or chat whoever's coming in. Okay, so anyway, I don't really know who's around. I've seen some extra people. I've seen some people coming in, so I don't know who's coming in or not. It's the only, I know that once I'm done the chat, of course, we'll probably say that I had no views here, and I'm not exactly sure why, of course, because I know there's people that are viewing it, and there's been likes on the channel, but I've seen the last couple of times that I've gone off, they lose the connection there. So I don't know what's going on there, but so hopefully, if you're joining me here, that would be great. So I don't know. I don't know who else is joining me. So if you can let me know who's here, that would be appreciated. If you're, I'm assuming that some people are probably just going to watch on from a TV line or whatever, from their phone. Sometimes that's a little harder. I understand. You can't really, put a comment or put a note in. But if you're joining me on the replay later, when you're watching this, just say hi on the comments. And what your view is on this, and what your take, what you're thinking about it, is I'm looking for is if there is a different time, it might be better as well. There might be some other times that might be good. I'm trying to work on that. If there's a better time, then maybe I will get some more people that will be interested. Mornings usually between, I'm in Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Ontario, Canada. So I can do sometimes in the mornings. I can do sometimes in the afternoons, and try to do that. Evening times, I find there's a lot more people that are doing lives during the evenings. That I'm not looking to step on anybody's toes, so I'm not going to go into their time slot. So there is that. So I'm working on that. If I do find a better time, though, and it is in the evenings, then I may just wind up going for that instead. And, what can I do? So, anyway, so hopefully there is those. Appreciate that. But like I said, if you're joining me, then you can join me here on the replay. If you're got some ideas on it, if you got some questions, put those in the comments too, I guess. Trying to cover everything, trying to cover all of the information that I can. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. um, Sort of running out of ideas to say here because I don't want to start up a book that with nobody here. That doesn't make any sense to do that because we're not talking about it. We're not really discussing anything. Um, the very first one that I did on a couple weeks back, uh, I did read out the first behavioral science book. It's an introduction, and the events of that day was disheartening to say the least, because I didn't know what was going on. And here I am doing a behavioral science uh, thing, and I got off my live and learned what was going on in the news, and I was very appalled that any of that was going on. But um, we seem to be, recovering in a way that there's a divide right now, actually, in our world right now, as far as what anybody thought of good or bad or not. And I don't know what to really say on that because um, this, um, actually, I don't know. I probably shouldn't give opinion on that, and I won't actually. But like I said, I really want to bring people together rather than putting them apart, and that would be a very important thing to me. And so hopefully, um, I'm going to do a few more of these. Obviously, now my background being Jewish, of course, I celebrate, or I take part in the Jewish high holidays. So Thursday, I will not be doing a show then, where I normally probably would have had time to do a show. Um, and I'll probably come back on Friday, probably in the morning to do a show then. If not, it'll be early afternoon, probably around the same time as this for Friday, and then the following one will probably be on Tuesday. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays are what my plan is to probably bring on some of these shows, and I'll try to find a good time and a good slot to bring them in, and we'll go from there. If I have time to just pop on for 20 minutes or something, maybe I might just do one of those and just see who's around. And if that becomes a good time, then that might be the time slot I'm going to use. Right now, I'm just trying to find the best spot to do this. Mm. And I never know. I have never really um, never took into account that, but you never know. Um, so. Um, like I said, hopefully that you're watching this on the replay later on. You can give me a like. Hopefully, you give me a subscribe and put some comments down below saying when you're going to be available to have this discussion, and we can go from there. Um, and so there is that. And I'll probably be wrapping this up maybe in a bit. I'm not exactly sure. Still working at this. And like I said, I apologize for my voice. It seems to be in and out a little bit today, um, but working at it. And so there's that. Um, and oh, I don't know who's being around. If you're joining me, say hi. I would really appreciate that. And tell me who you are. Tell me where you're from, and don't be shy to say where you're from and what your background is. If you do have any credentials here, please let them be known because I welcome that discussion. But this is not a debate. That's the only thing. I'm not looking for a debate or a change my mind, and it's not a prove me wrong. It's an open discussion, a live forum of open discussion about everything and humanities related. Um, and and because it opens up so many doors, and of course there's so much that can be used from that. um, the There's a lot anyway. So of course, there's a lot of interest. I don't know who's has an interest even in any of this. Like I said, it's going to take some time for it to hit a spark, maybe, and the right person, the right people start coming in and taking note in it. If you're from a culture, religion, background, creed, anything, I welcome you for coming in and talking about whatever you'd like to talk about. Um, and whether it's that you have a good background on it, that you're well adversed in, or you only know a little bit about it and you just want to talk about it. Um, we learn from each other. That's the most important thing. I've often said before, and I'm going to say it again, that well, I grew up in a Jewish household, in a Christian world, basically. If you've heard the definition of my channel, Google had it down pat. So that was one of the things that they that I had searched for my information. I had gone in and I'd searched for my own information to see what's known about my channel, and Google brought it up and brought it up to a T of what it actually is, which was fantastic. I thought that was amazing. Um, but so that's what I basically did, and I looked for, and I don't know why. So what's going on here? Um, so I just have to check and make sure everything's still on cue there. Okay, so but I think I will probably in the next video. So we're looking at episode 6 will be coming out probably on Friday, and I will start in on just reading the books and going from there. And whoever would like to join me on that, if they'd like to jump into conversation on it, we'll go from that. And that's all I can really do at this point. And hope that there's going to be a lot more interest, a lot more discussion. Um, I've been working really hard on gathering all the information I have. Now, if you've got more information for me, if you've got a book that you're using that will maybe be a text in school today that you're using, I welcome that as well. Just share that with us too. And they can be shared through that Facebook as a group as well. So you join the Facebook group, and then you can add in your own files as well. So if you want to share something of a book that is related to what you know, um, and then we can discuss that too. Um, and that's one. I like the file sharing way of Facebook, so that you can just share whatever books or files. I will be sharing, of course, some of the other stuff I have on there too. So if you look there, you'll be able to see some of my recipes will be going up there very shortly, and all of my I showed some stuff on Facebook or on Facebook on Rocketbook. I showed some stuff on Rocketbook that I use Rocketbook all the time myself, and I use pages that I have created. And so those ones that I've created, I will be sharing on my Facebook page, which is in the description below and is also in the description of the channel. So if you want to join on there, I will eventually be closing it to be private, so that it's just going to be the group that has joined. You will probably have some questions to answer if you join in later. But just you can, I will probably welcome in anybody who would like to actually join. I just think it should be private, because there's going to be people in there that are going to be talking about all this stuff as well. And some of it will be private questions, private ideas that may be shared there. So I'd like to make it closed for that reason. So what I was trying to mention before, though, of course, like I said, I grew up in a basically Christian society. So the thing is, when I was in school, I had a bunch of friends that were of different cultures, different backgrounds, and were born in different places. Some of them were born here, went to another country, and came back, and so they grew up with a different environment than anybody's ever seen. And I learned of other people as I went on, and But I was always fascinated with that. And that group of friends, we just sat around and shared. And somebody's holiday came up, we would share in what their holiday was all about and learn about them. And I think that sparked a thing with me as well. And we're talking like over 30 something years ago in my life. But it's always hit home in my mind that it's always good to learn about different environments, uh, different lifestyles than our own, so that we can be aware of all of that. And it's always been something very, very special. So, like I said, I don't know if this is even being put out into the algorithm. YouTube doesn't really put my channel out there in the algorithm at all. So I don't know if it's being shown anywhere, other than the few people that are probably joining me here and seeing my channel. Um, I can only ask for, hey, you're joining me today. Please say hi, where you're from, and where you're joining me from, and maybe what your background is. If you have any cultures that you're involved in, always welcome to show that. Um, so, you can always, um, just share alike in things as well. And that's what this channel is all about. It's all about the alternative, is an alternative to the closed-minded ideas of other people. And if that doesn't explain it any better, I don't know what does. Um, I'm for inclusion, not exclusion, definitely. Um, but it doesn't give me a political background. It doesn't give me a political ideal of any kind. I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm here for. Um, it's like I said, I'm in Ontario, Canada. We don't have the same kind of ideas, um, as far as like political standpoint, that this is what you vote for the candidate that is the best one that's in power. That's, whether they're in power or not, I guess. Um, so I don't really see the U.S. way is one or two parties. That's the only party that you have the option of. And in Canada, we have a lot of them. Unfortunately, there is just a vast amount of different parties that have shown in over the years. Now, of course, there was only the two, and then liberal and conservative at one time. But now it's branched out to so many other. Uh, you know, whether they have long standing or not, that's not really the issue. But every now and then, one of them grows a little bit more. So let's say you have the new Democratic Party in Canada. All of a sudden shows their skills and says, I can do better. And sometimes that is the person that you want to stand behind, because that's, what they're saying. Or the Orange Party, or the Quebecois Party, or whatever. And of course, that's Canada. And Ontario, we have another section of our government as well that is also based on those same things, like the conservative and liberals, and NDP and orange parties and all that stuff, green parties. And so your choice is so much more broader here, and it's based on the person who shows their best skills of running a country, or running a province, or running a city. And when it comes to a city, most of the time the choice for a mayor is not political based. It's not party based, I should say. So although they do have affiliates of where their standpoint is, I guess, but when you're actually voting for a mayor candidate, they're not specific to they're like a specific area. Um, so that's not really why you're voting for them for that reason. Usually, you're voting for the person who's actually going to, make your place great, make your place wherever you're living better, and that's what it should be. Um, and so that's so we can discuss different things like that. That's where my discussion is too, with what type of government we have, what happens in government. Maybe not just here, but what happens in the States can be discussed as well. And maybe where in the UK, what United Kingdom, what they what they do, in Australia what they do for their government, Africa, whatever place you're from. Hopefully, I'll have other people joining me in on this discussion, and I want that very much. Uh, it doesn't have to be me having uh, a conversation with my camera here. This is what I'm doing. Um, and I don't want to get to the point of, I hope I'm never getting to that point where I'm yelling at my camera and telling you about something going on in the world, because, I've seen too many of that happening, and I don't want to be doing that. It's definitely not my area of, where I'm going with YouTube, because that's definitely not me here uh, for that. Um, so that's basically where I'm at with this. It's conversation. There's always going to be um, room for more information out there. So hopefully that will be something that you'll join me in eventually. If you're joining me on the replay, please let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate it if you let me know in the comments what your thoughts are in regards to this, because I can only get better from here if I know what maybe there's an area that I should be covering that I'm not, or discussing a part that I'm not, or is there a viewpoint that I should be looking at that I'm not. Um, Again, it's not to change my mind or prove me wrong or anything, but of course, I'm open to discussion. I'm open to ideas, and that's the best way we can do this. Um, there are there's just there's way too many. And this is not an advice channel either. I'm going to explain that as well. This is not an advice channel. I find a lot of times the advice channels are a little bit over the top, and sometimes they approach it in the well. They have somebody calling in with a question, or they have a question that comes in by mail, or um, by email. So they have a question that comes in, and they discuss the question. And they've got one-sided information. I've got a video coming on this, that they've got one-sided information coming into the conversation. And so they bring the person on, and they say, I've got this and this happening in my life. And sometimes it's a financial problem. And sometimes it's a relationship problem. Sometimes it's an advocating for themselves problem, or just something going on in their life. And so they sit down to have the conversation with the host. Sits down and has the conversation with the camera and says, what's the problem? What's the issue? And they're only getting one side. They're only getting one side of the conversation, which makes no sense whatsoever. That you're giving advice based on that little bit of information, the 5 seconds of, yep, this is going on in my life. What do I do about it? And same with the financial part. If you're going to give financial information or financial advice, stick to the financial advice that you're giving, because you shouldn't be giving advice on dietary issues. Definitely not. I've actually witnessed the actual outcome of such a diet that and I shouldn't really say the name of the diet, but I know I did say it in my video. Um, it's basically that they're telling you what to do to meet, make ends meet. But sometimes that's not always the best answer. And also, if you're talking about getting advice on a relationship, or getting advice on anything else, not always the best choice. And so you got to be careful of that. So, and I've been looking for trying to do different things and do different ways. Um, and I may just wind up doing some of my gadgets and stuff like that as a live as well. I've got some other ones coming. I've got some other things too. And that Outburst game that I have been working on, I will be doing some more of that too. Someone once said to me that I shouldn't do some of my research and all that stuff. And I enjoy doing some of the research that I do on some of my videos. And so it's all part of this whole thing um, to learn more. I'm learning more as I'm explaining to you what I've learned. Sometimes I look at some of the other channels that I go to and go, why didn't you learn about what it is that you're talking about before you actually do the live or do the show on and not know anything about it? And so that's, gather up all the information, learn about it, and let's have the conversation. So that's why I do that. Um, and so that's why a lot of times I will spend the time going over the card and deciding where I actually want to place the use of that card and get some information going. And so yeah, there's all kinds of things like that. Uh, get the pictures for what I'm talking about, so I'm not just mentioning something. There's a picture of it. And some of those videos wind up being longer than others because of that, because there's so much information to discuss in it. But I'm not going to take all of the outburst cards as is. I may modify them because since they're 30 years old or so, they're from the 80s or 90s. Not all of them are relevant to today, and some of them are controversial to today. But I am kind of going to modify some of them so that they are actually worth using here. So hopefully that will be part of this. And so, you know, um, so if you're, like I said, if you're going to be joining me on the replay, when you're joining this later on, if you're watching, uh, just put in the comments, where if you're going to be joining me on my next live, that would be really great. Um, I don't really want to be doing this alone. I know there's people that are popping in here every now and then. So if you're popping in on any of these discussions, please just let me know who you are and what your interest is, maybe something about yourself, and we'll go from there. And if you've got any questions for me, no problem. Put that in the comments below. And you can hit on that subscribe and like button whenever you get the moment to do so. That would be appreciated. So uh, I'm going to be wrapping this up in the next few minutes, and hopefully we can do this again, and there'll be more of an interest to spark over time. And that's all I can really hope for. Since nobody really knows who I am, nobody really knows who I am at all, really. Google seems to know who I am, though. That was the surprise that Google knows who the gadget lady is, which is me. Um, so if I put a video up on that the other day on Friday. So you know, um, but I guess this is going to take some time. I know this is not getting out in the algorithm today. Maybe it'll get out in the algorithm in the next few weeks or months. And well, what can I do? This is a part of my niche. Is actually all about the alternative. Is everything alternative? All the things that are different and how to talk to each other differently and look at things differently. And that's all I really wanted to do with this channel was to create that. I relaunched this channel in 2024. I did have the channel, and as of right now, this channel is 19 years old. So it is a special event for me, basically yesterday and today, as it is the end of the month. That this has been a special time for my channel, and that's really where it's going. Um, so hopefully, like I said, you can give me a like and a subscribe there, and just trying to figure out all of that. Um, so. Doesn't look like anybody else is really joining in for today. So I guess we'll have to close it up. And every little bit counts, I guess. This is going to take some time. I know it's going to take some time to get it, to spark the interest, because this isn't a conventional channel. I'm not commenting on other channels and what they're doing and how bad they are or good they are or anything. Um, I know there are a lot of channels out there right now that are based on that purpose, and I'm not here to do that. I'm just not here to do that, and so I never know who's going to be joining me here. Um, this has been something of interest to me, and maybe I'm the only one who sees an interest in a coming together to talk about this stuff. Everyone seems to be opposed. Everybody seems to be, let's be on one side or the other. I don't want that. I've never wanted that. This is, you know, an open discussion because of that. Um, and like I said, none of this has ever changed my mind or proved me wrong or a debate of any kind. So you can talk and get in here and be a part of it. I'm looking for an open discussion of about life and lifestyles and just generally people. So um, that is exactly what I'm trying to do. Now I don't know how some of the other some of the other channels do a lot more than I do. They do a lot more hours than I do, but that is what I'm trying to do here. Uh, I guess I could bring up some, like I said, eventually I'll bring up some news stories. I'll bring up some things that we can discuss and talk about. But until this catches on, I'm here and I'm working on this. And hopefully you're giving me a like and a subscribe and commenting down below. And you know, whether you like it or not. Do you like? Is this something that's you're totally against or whatever? If you're going to put a downvote or a dislike, I'd also appreciate it if you can put a comment down below. If why the dislike? Is there something I can change or something I can improve here? I have no intention of being a faceless channel. Um, this is me. I'm talking to you from my desk and from my studio here, and this is all I can really do to make this work. Um, so hopefully I can spark some interest in humanities, in behavioral science. That is all that's all this is about, really. Again, I'm not doing a book today, I guess, because I don't know who's like if there was some more people around. If I had more people in on the live, I probably would do that. But that's the way it is right now, and so my channel doesn't get a whole lot of traction because YouTube does not put me out in the algorithm. I get it, so there's really nothing I can really do about it until YouTube starts pushing me out in that algorithm. And if I've done more lives, apparently maybe that would, show that I'm out here and show that I'm around, and maybe, spark a little more. Hey, there's more to talk about. There's more to get to know. I know there's a lot of uh, specific religion talk. There's certain religion talk right now going on. And I did not set out to do this in replace of that. That never was my intention. So I'm sitting alongside all of those channels and hopefully they will come into my channel. Hopefully they will come into my channel and make suggestions and talk and do all of that over time. And like I said, I apologize for my voice today. I've had a little tickle in my throat for the last couple of days, and that is certainly one of the reasons why this has, you can hear us like this. But it will get better, and my voice will be better. And I don't need an AI to do any of that, thankfully. Um, so. I'll be bringing back my other my other mouse so that it won't be so loud. I realize my mouse can be kind of loud at times, So there is some clicking going on because my mouse is kind of loud. But I have another mouse that I'm going to be bringing in that won't be so loud. And so I don't know. I don't know if I should close it off here or not. If someone would, if someone's interested in coming in, if you're joining me right now and you'd like to start the conversation, please say hi and tell me where you're from and a little more about you, and that would help me out to know where I'm going with this. And so there is that. Uh, so I'm going on an hour at this point right now. So um, I don't know. If there's anybody else that would like to join me on this, hopefully you're joining me right now, and that's great. Just put in the comments or put in the chat rather where you're from and who you are, and what's your interest in behavioral science, behavioral and humanities rather. If you're joining me, so I'd really appreciate that. If you're looking to talk a little bit and tell us about what you're about. My viewers will learn a little bit as they go, and this is actually like I said, it's a discussion um, and a little bit of learning along the way. So everybody gets to know a little more about other people and about other things going on. And I've been talking for an hour at this point right now. And every time I do this, hopefully it'll bring on some new people. It'll spark some, hey, what can we talk about? And that's all I can do. I'm the one that nobody knows about out here because YouTube doesn't place out my stuff under the algorithm. When you press on, my channel, or well, not my channel, but when you look up what else is happening, my channel's not going out there. So I can't do much more about it than that, I guess. So I'm just working away at this. Hopefully, it'll spark up a little more attention and work a way around it. And if I have time to come in to do a different time zone or a different time frame, I will try and do that. Sometimes there's a lot of noise happening around me, so it's a time frame that I really can't do anything. And you'll hear that outside, so I have to be sort of careful of that because otherwise you're going to hear it in the microphone, and it won't sound very good. Let's put it that way. So yeah, if you're joining me now, if you'd like to say hello and say where you're from and where you what your interest is with humanities, with the sciences, with the behavioral science, all good, and hopefully you can join me on that. Otherwise, I'm probably going to just have to cut off the channel at this point right now. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I've enjoyed being on with you guys all, and hopefully you've been able to give me a like and a subscribe with what you're seeing here. And if you have an interest in, you can, if you are joining me live, you can, on the next one, if you're joining me live, please join in on the conversation. That's what I'm here for, is to get some conversation going. Otherwise, I can just do this as one of my content and just make a video. But the conversation is what I want. The conversation is where we should be doing this. That's why it's humanities and all that stuff, because it's something to open the discussion with. Anyway, so like I said, if you can give me that like and a subscribe, and comment down below if there's a better time frame that you'd like to see this going on, and I have to work on that. So I will close it off here for now. Hope everyone's having a great day, and miracles happen every day. Sorry, miracles happen every day. I'm kind of doing this in the wrong direction. There we go. Miracles happen every day. Getting used to my camera angles. I'm still doing that. Um, but and some of these may move every now and then, so I'm probably going to have to change them up a little bit for the new ones that are going up, because I got a few that are coming up for the next ones in October. So October starts tomorrow. That's um, in Canada. We have, of course, Thanksgiving in about 2 weeks. And of course, we have Halloween, and so it's going to be a lot of different things that I'm going to be. You're going to see changes to my background here in the coming weeks. So, um, if you're joining me, hopefully you can give me that like, give me that subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, and miracles happen every day.